Have you ever thought about your impact? When I was 19, my dad's family came to visit me. And my little sister, I want to say she was 12 or 13, she asked me what I planned to do with my life after I graduated high school. And I told her I was gonna, I was gonna be a barber, I was gonna do hair. And she says to me, innocently, but she said it, she said, "Oh, I thought you'd do more with your life." And in that moment, I felt like, you know what? She's right. Maybe I am not swinging hard enough at, being successful and having an impact on society. My dad's a cop. He's actually a major. He's had a lot of promotions in his career as a law enforcement officer. My mom is a nurse. She owns a nursing company and she's been doing nursing for at least 44 years, I believe. And my little sister, the one that um, so like gracefully insulted me, she's a nurse as well. Now, I at the time I didn't have the confidence, the self-esteem, the self-worth, or self-assurance to take that comment in stride. And I also did not understand enough about the industry to understand that we as barbers and stylists, we do have impact on society. We have an opportunity to be impactful on people's lives. For example, yesterday I met with a beautiful young woman that apparently has some mental setbacks. She deals with mental illness. She said she's on some kind of a bipolar spectrum. She says she's on the low end of dealing with bipolar disorder, but it has real effects on her life. And she recently committed suicide, and or attempted. I'm sorry, she attempted suicide, and it was really jarring. And this was the first time I met this woman. I've never seen this woman a day in my life, and she told me her story, and it was such a sad thing to hear because she was beautiful and she looked so much like my family. Like she looked like the women in my family to me. And man, it really took me to a different place emotionally. I've had the worst night of sleep I've had in a long time, because I dealt with those feelings. I dealt with those thoughts. I also had a spell in my life where I was suicidal. So hearing her story brought me back to a place where I felt those feelings. And yeah, it the worst night of sleep I've had in ages last night. But the point of this audio, this video, is that while I am not as impactful on society as a law enforcement officer, I am not as impactful on society as a doctor or a nurse or a medical professional, and I will never pretend to be. But we as hair care professionals, we have an opportunity to connect with our client base, to learn about their lives, to learn their stories, to figure out where they're coming from and where they're headed. And every now and then, we have people that will open up to us and tell us their deepest, darkest secrets in the way that they might tell a therapist. Are we therapists? Most of us are probably not. Do we have the ability to at least listen and maybe be pseudo psychologists and pseudo life coaches and confidants? Absolutely. I take those opportunities very seriously because most of my client base are young boys, young men, even men my age and older. And I have a handful of female clients. So I personally, I relish the opportunities to connect with people because you never know what people are going through. You never know when they're going through it. You never know how well they're doing going through it. And as a guy that has been very low and very close to calling it quits permanently, I take these things very seriously because it just takes one more person to invalidate you before you decide it's over. When I have young kids in my chair and their parents tell me they're not acting right in school or they're misbehaving outside of school or whatever, I seize those opportunities to be a second voice, to back the parent up or to support the kid and letting that kid know, like, this ain't necessarily the life you want to start, living. Again, am I as impactful as a police officer? Absolutely not. Am I as impactful as a nurse or a doctor? Hell no. But if I can give a kid a second voice to, try to help steer them in the right direction, maybe they don't have an encounter with a police officer. If I have a conversation with somebody that's, that's down in the dumps, feeling really bad about their life or themselves, maybe they don't put themselves in a situation where they need a nurse at their bedside. Is it likely? I don't know. I have no idea. But I would much rather try than not. And so I encourage you, if you are a barber or stylist that just takes orders from their client and then puts your headphones in and doesn't interact with them, you are missing an opportunity to connect with somebody. You are missing an opportunity to be impactful in this industry and be impactful in your life. If this is just a job to you, that's fine. That's fine. Do what you got to do to get through the day. I love this industry. And I love this industry because I love people and I care about folks. And I feel like I am somewhat of an empath. And so for me, every opportunity that I have to have a conversation and let people know, yo, I've been there, or I feel you, or I get it, or I don't get it, but I do understand. I relish those opportunities because ultimately we are all we have. And I'm not close with my family. I don't really talk to anybody in my family. Occasionally I talk to my mom, but that's not very often. And so, and while I think I'm the minority, there are still lots of people like me that don't have other people to talk to. So when people sit down in your chair, you can't assume that they just have this great network of people that they can communicate with and they can vent to and they can let off, whatever is going on in their lives. Like, not everybody has those avenues or those networks or that community. So if someone's trying to talk to you, I encourage you, listen. If anything else, it helps you build clientele, it helps you build rapport, and believe it or not, it makes your job easier. This lady that I met with last night literally ruined my life for a night. But I was thankful that she felt comfortable enough telling me about what she went through. Even though it brought me back to a place that I'm trying to distance myself from, I still appreciate the fact that that I made her comfortable enough to say those things. What about your impact? Do you feel like you have any impact on society? Do you have clients that open up to you and tell you these things? How do you deal with it? Let me know in the comments. I try to stream daily on TikTok, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, Instagram. I stream from two different perspectives, Sean Cuts H and Tiger Cuts. This is my Tiger Cuts perspective, trying to figure out which works best. I'm not getting any feedback on which video perspective you guys prefer. I honestly prefer the other one, but if you guys like this one better, I'd love to know about it. I try to post daily, although I've been falling a little short on that, but I do make an attempt to post daily. But yeah, man, let me know what you guys think. Let all the buttons, all the things. I appreciate your time. Hope y'all have a great day.